in the past couple of days, we've been getting a lot of bad news when it comes to the MCU, like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier getting delayed, WandaVision getting delayed, possibly all of the Disney Plus shows getting delayed, and then on top of that, Black Widow and possibly the rest of Phase 4 getting another delay and slate shift. So we've got a lot of bad news on our hands here. But finally, we have a little bit of good news here, and it's actually for Hawkeye for once, because usually this is the show that has all the bad news. I mean, first it was, oh, this show is delayed, and then it was like, oh, this show isn't even happening anymore. And then there's the fact that they can't get Haley Steinfeld, or they couldn't, we don't know about that. But anyway, today we do have some good news about the series, and while it's nothing like epically good and huge, it's still good news. So basically the news is that a couple of directors have been announced for the series. And this is great. This is coming from The Hollywood Reporter, by the way, so I'll leave the link to the article down in the description below. But as it says here, Bert and Birdie, the nom de plume for Amber Finlayson, Bert, and Katie Elwood, Birdie, and known for helming Amazon's coming-of-age comedy Troop Zero, have been tapped to captain a block of episodes of the Marvel Studios series that will air on Disney Plus. And then there's also pulling the string for a block will be Rhys Thomas, a Saturday Night Live helmer who has also directed Staten Island Summer, Amazon's action comedy series Comrade Detective, and John Mulaney and the Sack Lunch Bunch. Alright, so if you know who those people are, let me know down in the comments below if they're good directors and stuff. But this is good news, because first of all, this is the first Marvel Disney Plus show that we know about so far that will have multiple directors, similar to The Mandalorian, because if you watch the Disney Gallery Mandalorian on Disney Plus, that's basically behind the scenes, like showing the making of The Mandalorian, it shows that there were different directors that did different episodes. So apparently they're doing that here with Hawkeye. I don't know if they're doing that with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or WandaVision, or Loki, or whatever, but they are for sure doing it with this. And that's really cool. Now, another interesting thing about this is that for both directors here, or all three directors, I think it was actually, it does mention block of episodes. So I think that means that they'll actually be directing multiple episodes, similar to how actually on The Mandalorian, like, for example, one director would direct like one episode, but then some other directors would direct like 2 or 3 episodes. So these directors may be directing, 2 or 3 episodes, or they may just split the season in half, and then that pair of directors will get the first half, and then the other director will get the back half or something. They may do something like that, or maybe there will be other directors that are working on these episodes as well, and we just don't know about those yet, so far. But another really interesting thing from this, now the projects that they listed, I've heard of them, but I haven't actually seen really any of them. But Saturday Night Live, that really caught my eye, and I know that. I watched the show, great show. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not, but funny. That's the thing. It's a comedy show, and from what I've heard about the other shows that these directors have worked on based on the projects that were listed here, they're all about comedy, and they're comedies. So this is great for Hawkeye, because Matt Fraction's run in for the Hawkeye comic, which is probably the greatest Hawkeye comic series ever, was so great because of its comedy, and it was a very comedic series. So it's great to see that they're going to be doing that like hardcore in the actual Disney Plus series. Also because, Clint Barton Hawkeye has kind of been sidelined since, well, pretty much his whole time in the MCU. Like, his first appearance was like 2 minutes in the first Thor movie, and then he was in the first Avengers movie, but then he was barely in it because he was mind controlled by Loki, and then he had a little bit of a storyline in Avengers Age of Ultron with his family and everything. Then he wasn't even in the third Avengers movie at all. He was in Civil War, but barely. And then he did have a bigger role in Endgame, but still not as big as I would have liked. So this series is going to introduce Hawkeye training Kate Bishop to become the new Hawkeye, and because we haven't seen much of Hawkeye in the MCU, if we're being honest, we haven't seen if he's comedic or not. So I like that he's going to be comedic in this series. I love comedies. Those are my favorite types of shows. And, I mean, if you mix comedy and superheroes, it gets even better. I mean, this is going to be like Thor Ragnarok, just without, you know, Thor and Hulk and, you know, space and gods and aliens and all that stuff. But I'm really excited for this. I'm looking forward to seeing a comedy series about Hawkeye. So yeah, this is going to be great. I'm really looking forward to this. But what do you guys think about this? Let me know all your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video. And hit that subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.